Hello everyone and welcome back to On a Storyteller's Night. I'm Nathan, joined as always with my friend Josh.
Good day.
So let's start first, just a bit of a catch up and stuff, because we didn't do that last time and we've not really been hanging out that much. So what have you been up to the past week?
Oh, the last week.
And the week before, because we didn't really cover it last
and the
week.
week before. So, the week before I was up in Wales. I went to go and spend time with my family and friends, and my girlfriend came with me. Not the weekend that's just been, the weekend before. I got confirmation by my local Bath Spa uni that I have got a provisional place. All I need to do is this coming weekend on Saturday to go to an official meeting to get my acceptance fully completed. My dog, thank you. My dog's is worse for wear, but he's doing better now. Just to let you know,
he's doing a bit better. Cool.
And my channel is doing brilliantly, better than I thought it was while I was gone. My video that went up on the 7th is on 246 views at the moment.
Oh, nice. I did try and have a look at a couple of things on Social Blade, but it seems to be not working properly. It's missed a couple of days. I'm not quite sure why. It missed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There's nothing. It's weird. For like any channels. It just seems to be missing on there. Not quite sure why. It's a bit weird. So it's not adding up how many views you get and everything else. I don't know. It's a bit weird. They must have had some kind of outage, which is a bit strange.
I will also finally say, before we move on to me catching up with your personal life, I have got 7 days left as of today of my PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
When my PlayStation Plus runs out, I will be getting Dying Light 2.
Oh. Dying Light 2. That might be good. I still want to play 7 days. What's it called? Yeah, 7 Days to Die.
7 Days to Die. I'm going to get the full PlayStation Plus before I even think about that. But 7 Days to Die is on my wish list. I don't have more than 3 games on my wish list at a time, but it's number 1. It's up there. That's my next one to get.
Cool. That'd be good. So all I've been doing is obviously back in work. So I was on half-term break, so I spent a lot of time with Jack over and did lots of videos before then so I could release them while he was here, so I wasn't recording while he was here, and did a lot of the streamer life simulator games, which were very strange and did quite well, to be honest. Some of them done not bad at all, over 1,000 views, one of them. Although I did the update for GTA 5 and that got just over 2,500 views, so that's pretty good. Not bad at all.
Brilliant.
Was part of that. And what else have I been doing? Oh, the weekend. It was my dad's 70th birthday this past week, so we went out on the weekend because it's Jack's 17th birthday coming up, 2 weeks as well. So we went out to this new Korean restaurant down in Cardiff Bay.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Basically, every person has their own hot pot and barbecue grill. It's like a hot plate. You choose what base you want for the hot pot. So there's spicy ones, there's smarter ones, there's mushroom ones, there's fish ones, and you have that and you just add what vegetables and meat you want and just keep doing that, and they'll keep topping it up. And then you've got the grill and you just keep cooking meat and vegetables, well, mainly meat obviously, because I'm a big carnivore, and you just keep cooking more meat. And they had beef, pork, chicken, lamb, and you just keep going back up and getting more meat and just putting it on the grill, put it in the hot pot and just eat and enjoy it. And it was absolutely fantastic. There's supposed to be a time limit of 2 hours. We were there over 3 hours.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning it the other day.
It was good. It's not cheap. It's about £33 per person, but we probably get way more than that amount's worth. So it worked out quite well for us, I must admit. It was good. It was it's absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It's a nice experience. Noisy because there's fans everywhere. You've got fans above you. You've got fans on each of the tables as well, trying to take some of the fumes away from the grill and all that. But so it's not a place you can kind of sit and have a chat to people. It's just a place to go and eat and stuff yourself type of thing. But it was good though. I enjoyed it. All right, shall we make a start then? So,
yeah, definitely.
Something that's always in the news, I thought we'd cover because it's very techy and kind of emerging, been around a little bit, but it's been getting a lot more coverage these days and becoming more prolific everywhere. And that's AI in all its different forms. Yeah. So, is it a good thing, or do we have to bow down to our AI overlords in the future? There's a lot to be said, and obviously there's the stealing of art and voices and faces and all that. What are your sort of general thoughts on it before we go into depth into the different types of AI and what they can do? What's your basic kind of gut reaction when somebody talks about AI?
When I hear people talk about AI, I kiss my teeth. I have such a mixed opinion on AI. It's good, but my lord, it has it has so many flaws. So many. It takes so much of our planet already, and AI is still very recent. So yeah, whenever it gets mentioned in a normal conversation, I kiss my teeth.
I must admit, I do use AI at the moment for various things, but we'll come to that in a minute when we talk about the different
types. Occasionally do. I will hold my hands up. I occasionally do.
Yeah. Because a while ago, it's actually 2023, I did a little bit of work on my YouTube channel. I compared two different types of AI. It was ChatGPT, I always get that wrong what it is, and also Gemini, the Google one. And I did a comparison of the two different ones to see how they give you the information with the same prompts and what they kind of tell you. And it was quite interesting seeing the way that different ones do it. One of them does it more conversational, the other one does more business-like. And it was quite interesting seeing the difference in like the tone it gives you. So I gave it basic prompts like give me factual information, and then another one make up a story. And they were totally different how they did it and how they sort of got to the information. But so the main sort of AIs I believe are out at the moment, obviously GPT. So I don't know, it just doesn't roll off the tongue to this chat GPT, and it just sounds weird. That's kind of like the main one. Obviously, you've got Copilot, which is Microsoft, which is built into everything. You got Gemini, and also Adobe has one as well. Their main one is for images called Firefly. But there's a newer one that's been in the news a lot called Deep AI.
Deep AI, I know about this.
That's been in the news a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But I've been playing around with a couple of them because, as I said, I've used them little bits and pieces. I've actually, for all my recent thumbnails, apart from GTA 5, all the ones for Streamer Life Simulator and Game About Digging a Hole, I've actually used AI image generation, actually using the Adobe one, Firefly, for that. So I've been giving it a prompt of what I kind of want. So a person standing in front of a new purple house, thumbs up, smiling, and then I put my own face over the top of it and make a few adjustments and that sort of thing. So for that, it's been quite good. So I've been using prompts to get what I want for the thumbnail and then combining it all together to make my thumbnail. And I think it's actually been quite effective. It's been quite good.
You see, now this deep AI thing, this is what I've been using at college.
Yeah.
Deep AI is co-partners with a bunch of colleges around the world already, and it's I'd say about about 5 months, 6 months of its birth.
It's not been long, yeah. But they managed to develop it a lot cheaper than ChatGPT and stuff like that, didn't they? So there was a lot of talk about that. In my opinion,
Deep AI works quicker and more efficiently than ChatGPT, but ChatGPT gives you I would say more accuracy. It will give you more accuracy, whilst Deep AI is more fundamental and experimental.
What do you mean by accuracy? This is a point that I'll talk about. So what do you say? What would you consider accuracy with AI?
This is where it starts. It all depends on how accurate the person is typing. That will depend on how accurate ChatGPT is.
Not only that,
but I think ChatGPT, in my personal opinion, is the most effective when it gives an answer if you give the time to fully describe what you want. It's the most accurate. I've tried with Google. I've even tried with Deep AI at college. I've tried with many others, and nothing's given me more satisfaction than ChatGPT.
The downside of things like ChatGPT, for a while, they had the learning model was offline. I don't know if it still is. I should have looked into it before this, but I was kind of doing this, let's get our reactions to it rather than looking into it too in depth. But when they first brought ChatGPT out, it was using an older version of information on the internet, so it wasn't live on the internet. So it would get information, but it wouldn't be necessarily up to date. And this is one of the things I don't really think about with AI. It goes around all the internet, all the information it's been given. If it's been given a block of information that's taken offline or whatever, it's only got that information. If it's live on the internet, you say, find this piece of information, it'll look everywhere. The trouble is, it won't fact find that to find out where it is. There's so much misinformation on the internet. Things like Wikipedia. Anyone can write anything in Wikipedia, and if you search it on Wikipedia, you'll go, oh, is that true? I didn't know that. It could be absolute nonsense. But AI doesn't know the difference. It will tell you with certainty that this is the correct answer. It won't know if it is the correct answer. It will just be really, really confident that this is the answer it's found. And that's, for me, one of the things I go for a list of what most people use it for. And for me, searching something just a normal Google search and reading a few entries and then getting your own idea of what's going on is much safer than using AI, because AI will take its sources from anywhere. It'll take it from tweets. It'll take it from anything that's posted on the internet. But as we know, anyone can post anything they want to and blatantly lie quite often to mislead people. But it won't know that, and it'll return an answer that it is confident in. It'll be absolutely confident in what it's telling you. But it may not be the right actual answer. So it's, for me, that's the biggest downside of it, is that people will see it because it's on the internet, like, idiot people out there, and think whatever it tells you is the truth because it's telling you this is what I found, this is the actual answer. And it may not be. You just do any Google search and you can probably find 5 or 6 answers for the same question that vary in slightly different ways. Well, in fact, when you do it now with Google, it gives you an AI summary to start with, which is worrying. It's a nice idea, but it depends where it took that information from, didn't it? So it's a bit worrying. But I put together a kind of list of what they're mainly used for. So obviously one of the biggest ones is art. That's what I've used it for. It is a concern because you don't know where it's taking it from. Is it generating itself? Is it stealing the artwork? Are there people out there making this stuff and AI is just going, oh, like that? That sounds like the prompt I've been given, and just stealing it off other people. There's obviously music as well, which is something I want to look into and see how good that is. But that's also a worry. Where is it stealing it from? Videos as well. Some of the videos out there are just... Some of you can easily tell, like the ones of Gordon Ramsay, and they're going, the new series of Kitchen Nightmares looks insane, and it's Gordon Ramsay's doing all sorts of weird things. But you can tell it's not him because it kind of warps and things change in an odd way. There's like a lot with the pictures. Fingers won't necessarily be right. There'll be bits that are a little bit off. A lot of the time, faces don't quite work. So when I did the thumbnails for the podcast, I used several different AI prompts to get different pictures and then composite them together. The faces were always awful. I was putting our faces in anyway, but they never quite looked like real people. So it's a bit kind of odd. For me, the better ones are stuff like the creative writing, where you can give it prompts and it'll write a story, or I'm actually putting together a new vlog soon, because I've realized that my main YouTube channel is mainly gaming, but I do lots of other things. But I think I'm putting too many different things on it, so I'm going to do a slightly different vlog channel so I can just concentrate and just do vlogs and just post them there rather than on the main channel, just to kind of, because I'll get people that are gone on my channel because they like something, and then they may not see that content for a while and not come back again. So I need to kind of separate it out a bit. So I've started to do a couple of prompts for the ideas that I've got for videos I want to do, and see how it'll get like the talking points and the scripts, and you can ask it for like details of what kind of shots to do and B-roll and music, and it'll do all of that. And it's like, oh, this is quite good. I probably want to use it as it is, but you can take pieces from that and kind of amend it. I know a lot of people, we use it in school as well. I'll just quickly go through all the different ones. Yep. Like business writing. So you say, I need this piece of information, like we're doing a lot of policies and things like that. So a lot of a lot of businesses are using it for that kind of thing, saying, write me this, and it'll go around the internet, find other policies, and then mush it all together. You have to then read it, which I think, once again, the thing, you have to read it, fact check it, it's all working right, and then amend it for your own use. So it is good for that, and obviously spell checking and grammar, it'll do all that kind of thing. So it is really kind of use it, but be careful how you're using it, isn't it?
Now, this is where I'm going to throw my major 2 pence in.
Yeah, go for it.
You mentioned script writing and the whole creative writing and narrative pieces of it.
Yeah.
It's stealing jobs. That's the route I want to go down. And that's AI is my biggest enemy here. If I want to go down creative writing and create stories for games and animation or films in general, I have competition, and my greatest competition isn't other humans, it's AI. And this is where I'm going to be a bit nitpicky. Whenever I want to make a script for a YouTube video or intro or whatever, I make sure I type it out. I spend time to do it myself. It's my own product, no one else's.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't like the whole situation that you're going to use it to make a script. I understand it will be a lot easier.
It's for the outline. It's not creating the whole thing. It's for doing the outline, because it's not something I've done a lot of. So it's something I need to learn kind of how to do that. Because all my videos, like my vlogs and so on, I'll come up with the ideas and all the basic stuff in my head and maybe the odd kind of bullet point, but I don't kind of plan it out as much as I should do. So it's, it's like doing this. Or you go off on tangents all the time, we're both like that, and we kind of talk about something, and it's like, and then you go around the corner, and then around the corner, and we lose sight of what the actual thing. So for me, it's learning how to get things down in a sensible format so that I can kind of concentrate on that and use that as a kind of like, right, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm talking about, and kind of to give me that focus and learn how to get that in place. Rather than it writing it all for me, is to get those kind of bullet points separated out as right. So I've got, this is what I want to talk about. How can I organize that in a better way? It's more of kind of like the organization rather than write this for me with like almost no problem, because you can do that, but then you're not going to get much out of it because it's going to make a lot of assumptions about you, and that's kind of like the odd thing. Although I will say, when doing that, I compared like ChatGPT with Deep AI. ChatGPT did a better job of personalizing it because it's linked to my Google account. So it knows the things I do, the places I go, it knows about my YouTube channels. And a couple of times it actually mentioned my channel, which is like, that's kind of mental. Because I didn't say like my channel or anything else. I just said I wanted to do this, and this, and I was like, I'll make it more about sort of gaming. And it started to do that and talking about games and talking about my YouTube channel. And it was just kind of like, oh, this is kind of a little bit freaky that I've not told it any of that, but it knows it because it's linked. So it's like, it's kind of a way. It's cool, but it's also kind of a bit like, now how far does it take it?
I mean, the whole reason why I don't like it is exactly that. It can go. It's not. The way to sum it up is that it's not letting on more than it is. It's hiding, given its full potential, and when it gives its full potential, that's when people start like, that's too much, and then people over panic and over protect themselves from it, and then to the point it's just going to get out of hand. People are going to start rowing, whatnot. More people are going to get laid off from jobs because of AI. They're like, oh, people don't like this, but we can use this to our advantage. It's all just a big circle that will just replay and replay and replay.
Well, that's why I don't like a lot of it, like the whole job side. You look at like the Industrial Revolution when they started bringing more automation and more machines, and then eventually robots. It's the same kind of thing,
It's the same thing.
It's exactly the same kind of thing. But it's like, how many jobs has it actually taken, and how many jobs is then created in different ways? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, because people still need to fact check it and do the other side of it and keep it running and all that sort of thing. So our jobs evolve in a different way as well. Because I don't think there's going to be a time soon that AI could do, the script for an entire movie by itself, or script a book, and do it in a coherent way that would make sense, because it won't have the vision of what happens next. It could do one book and one story, and there'd be bits you go, that didn't make sense, but it wouldn't be able to do like a series of books. And like, look at Game of Thrones, although he's never going to finish it. There's those overreaching stories that come to a head later on, and all the little bits and pieces that mean something later. They won't have the vision of that to have those little things that mean something along the line, because it'll be focused like this is that. That's where I think it can't really take over from real people, because it hasn't got the kind of forward vision and the, you know what I mean? It's I can't see it taking over that.
I understand, but then again, it's doing coding to almost perfection at the moment. People are typing in,
oh yeah,
I want this type of coding, and I want it done like this. Come back 10 seconds later. Oh, here you go. Here's a brand new flushed website made from the ground up in coding. Puts it in a URL for you. As soon as you click the URL, you've got exactly the website you were looking for.
But then you go back to websites. When I first started making websites, I had to code in HTML.
Yeah, that's what
nobody uses HTML anymore, because it's all visual, and you move a box here, move a box there, copy and paste here and there, and it's all visual. It's the same with coding languages. You start off with machine code. I learned that back in the day, and then BASIC, and then COBOL, and Python and C+, and all of that. And it's kind of variations on that, and you've gotten away from the basic one. It started, machine code was very, very, very basic, so that the machine could understand it. All the programming languages since are there to make it easier for us to do. It slows down the process. If you have to get a person doing it, it does slow it down. So they put stuff in place. So you can go to a website, I want this, I want this, I want this. Websites have been doing that for years. Wix and Squarespace, they do most of it for you. It's like, what kind of website is it? This kind of business? Is it these kind of colors? So it does most of that for you anyway. So there's not that much difference, I think, in that side of it, because it's kind of taken the human part out of it, because we are flawed. We don't know what we're doing. And sometimes it's easy to just have the prompts and just go, I want this, I want this, I want this. And you'll end up sometimes with a better result, because it'll have more understanding of what's possible than you can, if you know what I mean. So some of that, I think, works quite well. Some of it, I said, it's the creative writing is the bit that I don't think AI will be able to kind of overtake. I couldn't imagine an AI doing anything near, someone like Stephen King. It's just not going to be able to, or Raymond D. Feist, or Tolkien. You can't. I can't imagine an AI ever being able to get to that point.
The furthest it's got, and I know, I can swear down this on my grave, because I've paid attention to AI when it comes to script writing and stuff. So there's this one person that told, I think it was, ChatGPT to write a story in Obi-Wan's perspective and use it as accurate as possible to the Attack of the Clones film. It did the entire first 60 minutes to perfection. Yeah. He was describing it. I need to try and find it, because there's a YouTube video on it. He told the AI to describe Obi-Wan's perspective, no one else's, during the Attack of the Clones. Use every single piece of dialogue that George Lucas made, and that
this is where I get back to, that's not creative. That's building something from known. A person could do that, but it would take a lot longer to go through those sources and find the events that happen and the things that go on, and then writing it from that person's perspective. I think a lot of the times it's something that I find with a lot of prequels and things like that. People put their own feelings and thoughts into it, and I think it goes the wrong way. But the thing like you're describing, it takes the emotion out of the writing. I don't mean like from the character's perspective, but I mean from the person writing it. It takes their personal feelings and thoughts about the character, or their assumptions about the character, out of it, and it runs on pure facts. So for things like that, as a base, for a story, I'm not sure about using it for the whole story and like releasing it like that. But for a base of the information to obtain is like written from a character's perspective who is known and there's a lot of writing about. For me, that kind of makes a certain amount of sense because it's easier to get that information. If you ask, AI, I want all this information so I can write a story about it, and it'll get the bare bones to you. Then you have to flesh it out. That for me it's a stepping stone. It's a way to take away all the needless kind of the work for searching into it and having to read it, and it's taken that kind of bit out of it and making it easier then for the creative person to then put it together as a finished product. So that kind of thing I don't see as quite the same creatively, although it's creative. I mean, things like an actual story that is unique and different, and new, not something that's created on the back of something else. That's what I don't think AI would be able to create something new, if you see what I mean, rather than working on, like, say, write the next Star Wars film. That's one thing. Write a unique science fiction film, that's a different thing entirely. And that's what I don't think AI would be capable of doing at any point in any kind of clear way, because when I've tested it, it draws too much inspiration from existing things because it can't create it and just like come up with something itself. It draws on a lot of other experiences and other writing, and you can easily tell when it's done that. Plagiarism is one of those things that AI is going to do, because it can't go, I need to come up with something brand new or have a dream, like Wes Craven had a dream about a character and then writes a horror movie about the character that he had a dream about. It's that kind of thing that AI isn't capable of doing. So I think the creative writing, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. People will use it lazily for lazy writing, like I could imagine Bungo or good old Bungie doing it excessively for Destiny because they really don't care anymore. That's what I see it as.
Let me ask you this. Let's say 10 years time, a decade from now.
Yeah.
Where do you think AI in general, in its entirety, will be in the world of work and corporate level? Where do you think it will be at?
It'll still be there as a tool. It depends. It'll be there a lot more than it is now, because at the moment it is building, and everything is integrated in everything. It's integrated into Windows with Copilot. It's integrated into all the Adobe. You go to any Adobe software and it's got AI in it. You can use Photoshop and tell it to generate something for the background, something for the foreground, fill in the background. It's all there already, and you can tell it to. It's not great at a lot of the time, and it kind of makes things up, makes assumptions. It doesn't necessarily know what you're thinking when you ask it something, because people are not good at necessarily articulating the ideas they have in their head.
Yeah,
that's why artists are so amazing, because they can think of something and put it down. You look at Vincent van Gogh, one of my favorite. Starry Night is one of my all-time favorite paintings, and AI couldn't do something like that. It's from that person's perspective and his experiences, and that's what he puts into it. AI isn't quite capable of that. AI can only copy and change it. It can't create something by itself. It needs somebody to tell it no and do this and change it like that and change it like that. That's where you'll get a different type of creative person. And I think a lot of business and so on, they'll lose a lot of the creative talent. And I think the danger is people will lose skills because they rely too much on AI. It's like the rest of us, we don't spell things anymore. Hardly anyone does any mental arithmetic because you've got a phone with a calculator. You've got everywhere you write on a computer, spell checks and grammar checks. So these skills, I think, are being lost. And that is my biggest concern with AI in businesses and everything else in the future, is that people will rely on it to do too much for them. And they say, I need, to make a presentation on this. And it does it for them. And everyone forgets how to use PowerPoint. That's for me is the danger, that people use it for everyday tasks. Yes, it is quite good for that because it means you can concentrate on other things. But we can't lose the skills of being able to create that. That I think is the danger, that people will rely on it for basic things. And the IQ levels will kind of go down because you're not doing it, and people won't read as much anymore. And, it's that side of it that concerns me more.
Okay. No, all right. Fair enough.
So I think that is with anything like this is, it's relying on it too much. It's like, look at cars. Everyone relies on the car to go pretty much anywhere. You're going down the shops. Most people won't then, just take a walk down the shops. They'll take the car. I think it's a 5-minute walk. They'll still take the car. And people become lazy, and then society as a whole becomes less fit, more obese, because people aren't doing the basic things. And I think that's the biggest danger of things like AI and any kind of automation, that it takes it away from the creativity of people and people's need to go out and do those things. Just be, I don't have to do that anymore. It's like, get a Roomba on the floor. You don't have to hoover anymore because the Roomba will do it while you're asleep. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? It's cool, but is it, taking something away from us? Sorry, say the same about the dishwashers. Are they a good thing or are they a bad thing? Because it stops people from having to do washing up. And then people become lazy with it. And, it's kind of like, it's an ongoing thing where every time you introduce something new that's a time saver, that means people don't have to do certain kind of jobs and so on, does that then take something away from society?
Okay. That was a very good way of putting it. Very long and very long-winded.
Very long, because I will do, because that's me in it. And like I said, once again, it's the whole meandering, trying to get your point across that humans aren't necessarily good at. That's where things like AI come in, because you can look at something and then go, shorten this for me,
Yeah, it's human error at the end of the day. And this is where I think AI is okay. Human error, it counters the human error side of things. Exactly. It helps. It doesn't necessarily, I wouldn't say it necessarily helps in short term, but in the long term, it will most certainly be, it's appreciative. It's very appreciative with human error.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like for business and so on, it'll be rewrite this email so it's a little bit more professional. Because at the moment, people are people. Somebody sends you an email and you feel a bit annoyed about something somebody said, and you fire an email back. That could be a job because you've overreacted to something that someone's typed. But if you say to AI, make this sound a little bit better, make this more business-like, you can kind of avoid that, and the tone of voice in emails can be difficult. People aren't good at writing in the same way you'd say something, because I've seen it happen so many times. Well, somebody will do a message on Teams or an email, and they'll upset people, and they didn't mean to, and they didn't mean it in that way, but because of the way it's written and the way you speak it are two different things, and not a lot of people can kind of manage the two and see the difference. So something like AI would be good for that person. Write this in a way that's not going to upset people, and and that kind of thing. I think it'd be really useful for. That's what I think it'd be good, as long as people learn from it and don't just rely. Because the thing that annoys me most about AI is people use it, and that's it. I'm going to use it to write my essay, but they don't check it and see what it's actually done. And it won't always do it the way you think, unless you have to actually check through it and understand what it's done and why it's done it. That, I think, for a learning tool is great, but people will abuse it and use it to do the work for them. It should be an aid to your work, not a replacement.
Yeah, agreed. I can agree there.
It's obviously, there's a lot of it. Obviously, I work in a school, so there's a lot of different bits and pieces coming in with people using AI. But you look, back when I was in college and university, the internet was only just starting, so people were using that to, find information. And plagiarism was big then, because you could easily do it. Everyone's always done it. You go to a library, you get library books out, you get textbooks, you do your essay or whatever, and you use big sections from that. Well, it was a lot harder to double check that, unless you had like a teacher or professor that knew that book inside out and go, hang on a minute, you stole those lines from that book. It's a lot harder. When the internet and Google and all that started coming more, people could find that information a lot easier and steal it, because it's just copy and pasting. But you could also put that into the internet and find where people stole it from. So it kind of went both ways. And now it's the kind of same with AI. And there are markers in the AI that'll tell people this is created by AI. But now there's websites that you can go to that'll take all of that away and humanize your AI responses. So it's like it's ever evolving to try and stop people from abusing it and using it as their work, and getting a job or passing a degree or anything, but they don't have the actual knowledge and the skills to physically do that, but they've cheated their way to it. So it's kind of ever evolving. How do we see that? How do we catch that? How do we eliminate that? And that, I think, is one of the areas that will grow as AI grows, is the company will need more people able to do that. I know, just the same as there's more computers started taking over in businesses, and more of the day-to-day tasks are being done on computers. Then you had to worry about viruses, people stealing information, so they need to then hire people, IT security. So it's like when you bring one form of automation, there's often then other people need to be coming in with new skill sets to help manage that and bring that in line. So I think although it'll take jobs away, there'll be new jobs created to combat the downfalls of it as well.
Yeah, agreed. I can 100% agree there.
Mm.
Got any other topics about AI, mate? Because
I was going to say, are you looking to kind of use it more yourself? How do you see yourself using AI in, say, 5 or 6 years? When you come out of college and go into a job, how do you see yourself using it?
I can tell you now, I will be using it for my uni course, because I'm doing, surprise, surprise, what we were just talking about, creative writing. Yeah. And if I end up having to do some of my work online or over like a PC or laptop, which most likely will be the case, I won't say it's cheating, but I'll use the whole chat thing to touch up. I wouldn't say necessarily do it entirely from scratch, because they can, because unis have the ability to detect that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I would use it just to touch little things up and then build upon it. I will build on the touch up that the AI does. That's the only reason I think I will be using it. Just a quick touch up, and then I expand on what they expanded on me.
Yeah.
I don't see no other reason for me to use it other than a little bit of personal gain like that.
That's the thing. Using it as a tool to help you, I think, is what it should be, but not
some
using
people
it for
take advantage of it.
They always will. That's the trouble, isn't it?
Last year or the year before, I think, the whole Taylor Swift thing and her boyfriend being in the American football team, whatever it's called. These AI generated photos of her with explicit content images with the entirety of that American football team. That's people using it and abusing it. That's what people don't like.
It's the face swapping and that sort of thing that is getting more prolific on the internet. There's always adverts everywhere. It's like, change it so you're doing this, and there's a lot of it with music as well. I know you've got these adverts, these people that can't sing, and they press a button, and suddenly they've got this, they're singing this amazing song. Voice. But it's not that person singing, it's AI. There's a lot of AI music out there. Some of it is kind of funny, and some of it is like, where they've got like Chester, obviously the sadly departed Chester, singing other people's songs, which he never did. But you've got the AI doing it, and it's quite interesting. Occasionally you can hear, and it's like, it doesn't always sound quite right. It's kind of weird.
I've got this app on my phone. It's called the Must FM. No, it's not. It's I think it is. Yeah, no, I don't know. But I had this app on my phone where you could put in a YouTube URL from a music video. Yeah. And the app would scan the music and the lyrics. Yeah. It won't do the video. And you can just pick like Darth Vader, Bart Simpson, or Peter Griffin. Hell, you could do Adele, Billie Eilish, Chester Bennington, Freddie Mercury, and you could make people those characters or other artists sing different songs.
Yeah.
For example, I did Frank Sinatra do It's Not Unusual by Tom Jones. When I tell you, I closed my eyes and listened, the second time I listened to it back, I'm like, this could have been Frank Sinatra's song. This is actually quite good.
Yeah.
But then I do Freddie Mercury, for goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire.
It's like, what the hell? Yeah.
Biggest pile of song for my ears.
Well, the thing is, you pick two people that it makes sense why. Because things like My Way was actually written, Tom Jones didn't want it, and Frank Sinatra ended up with it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kind of crossing over between those two and the styles and that sort of thing. So that makes sense. But it's when you get somebody with a like you said, Freddie Mercury, completely different style. It's like, that doesn't quite work. And sometimes it does. You know, it's like all the mashups and stuff that people used to have to do. Now they do it with AI, so they don't have to. And some of that is like, it's like, one of my all-time favorites, 9 Inch Nails, Closer, mashed up with Super Mario.
Yeah, I remember this from like, what, 4 years ago? 5 years? Yeah, 4 years ago during COVID, you told me about it. Like,
yeah, that's been around, one of the oldest ones. And but that sort of thing, you know, that took skill. And now you can just say, AI, do this for me. And it just does it. And it's like, but something I actually saw in the news today, the other reason why I want to bring this up, they're now talking about AI creating computer games.
Yeah,
all by itself.
This is where the coding aspect comes involved. This is why people are thinking that it can be done. It already knows how to do coding to a T. It can already do writing to an extent.
Yeah.
All it needs that's left, all it will need to do is to get the foundation to actually build it. It's got the little bit of writing and it's got the perfect amount of coding it needs. It just needs that one little piece of foundation and it could do it. Yeah.
And this is where it comes to the point of like, could it be better than some of the junk we get given now? You know what I mean? Because a lot of, you know, game creation and so on, which, you know, it's an amazing industry that both of us love like unbelievable amounts and have done for a long time. And you just think a lot of the crap that we get given by these game companies, because, you know, crunch and budgets and time constraints, a lot of the time things aren't finished. And then they have to, you know, send updates and everything else while you're still trying to play the game and get it working. On Destiny's one of the biggest ones because they got rid of most of the QA team. So now they release stuff and it just doesn't work and it crashes and there's so many bugs. You think if a computer's creating it, are you going to have the bugs? It can test it a lot better and understand the code and know what's going on. So is it going to do it more flawlessly and at a much better level than we could? Well, that's the thing that makes you wonder, is that going to be good? If it can do the code and all that and do it properly first time, we're not going to get all those issues of having unplayable games on release. An absolute, you know, crap pile some of the games have been. You know, because some games, they get a release and it's nothing like you expect and it's awful, it's unplayable, you can't do anything with it. But what if that was removed? That's where we go back to like the creative side. Like AI could, I'm sure, create a game. You could say create a game like Halo, and it'll create a game exactly like Halo. But can it create something new, a new type of game we haven't seen before, new storyline, new situations, new powers, weapons, and all that kind of thing? That's the bit that I don't think it's going to take over from people anytime soon, because it's the creative, the difference. Look at all the different types of games we've got, and all the different storylines, and all the ideas. You know, there's so many different things out there. I think the danger is AI will just copy one. You'll say, make something like Destiny, and you'll get something like Destiny. And it's going to be very similar. It's not going to change too much. The trouble is, people are already doing that, even without AI, let's be honest. You know, how many times do people copy something? Same with movies. You get a popular movie one year about a volcano. Suddenly there's 20 other movies the same year about a volcano. You know, so it's already being done by people that are too lazy to come up with their own ideas. They just go, that's popular, let's do that shit. And it's like, well, is there any difference then? I don't know. That's the thing that gets me. Is there a difference between AI doing it or lazy people doing it? The difference is AI might do a better job than the lazy people.
Yeah, the whole point. So the whole point of the AI situation, before it became a talking point of being either a problem or a good thing, people and companies like the Google AI and Chat GPT, like the video you did, the whole in Google AI versus Chat GPT. That was a very good video, by the way, mate. I really enjoyed that one.
Oh, cheers.
But it's there to help. A lot of people, like you've mildly just said, a lot of people don't use it to help. A lot of people use it to take advantage.
Yeah.
All of which goes back to one of our episodes recently about scams. A lot of people are coming across AI scams because people are just setting up the right code, the right tone of wording for this AI, and they just copy and paste it and send it to someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Done and dusted. People using it in a villainous way when AI is this vision that should be used to help and make the world better.
Yeah. And it's the same with robotics and automation and all that sort of thing. It's supposed to be an aid to what we do, not a replacement for what we do.
Exactly.
So I saw an interesting video the other day where they had two different AIs talking to each other.
Oh, now
they were talking, and then they went, "You're an AI, I'm an AI, okay." And then they started talking in a machine language instead because it's a lot quicker. English is slow for computers. Computers don't understand English in that way. They work with ones and zeros. So and it was like, yeah, that makes sense. But then it's like, but then they're having a conversation that you're not a part of and you don't understand.
Yeah, there was a situation in America about 8 years ago. I remember it clear as day because I was absolutely like I said, "Oh, dear what?" I was watching Terminator series for the second time, and coincidentally, when I got to the second film, I hear it on the news that in North America, in North Dakota it was, there were these two computers, two different companies, but they were in they're like next door buildings.
Yeah.
For about 2 years at this point had gone by. They were automated AI scanning bots. They would scan boxes and see what's inside them, and then they would send the information of what they scanned to the archives by themselves with no human interaction. They would just do it, done, dusted, next parcel. They both spoke to each other for 2 years behind both companies' back, and both of these AI computer systems were saying good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and would have full conversations during the day in between each parcel on the escalator. Both companies has soon been shut down after, and both of those robots have been taken in by undisclosed people. And the further information that I know of about it is that they haven't been discontinued. No one's pulled the plug on these two. They're letting them talk. They want to see how far these two robots can go before they burn out. But that just goes to show, even 6 years ago, AI was already trying to go harder and further than it is now.
Yeah. So talking about Terminator always reminds me, I think it's 2015, there was a news article about a robot like in a factory had killed a worker. I think it was a VW factory in Germany. And it's like 2015. But the odd bit was, it was tweeted by someone who worked for Financial Times, a journalist for the Financial Times. The only trouble was her name was Sarah O'Connor. And she'd never seen like the Terminator movies, and her, like she had hundreds of people responding, telling her about Skynet. Look it up on Twitter or X. Sarah O'Connor, Financial Times, robot has killed a worker in VW plant in Germany. And it's Sarah O'Connor. It's like, you can't write this stuff and make it up, can you? It's like, what the hell?
No.
That's mental, isn't it?
That's crazy.
That's obviously before AI, but I just had to remember because it just like reminded me then when you were saying about like, Terminator and stuff, and you just think, oh, you can't make this stuff up, can you? And it's just like, my God. No, it's just it's a tragedy, obviously, and we're making light of it. But the fact of the person to tweet about it was Sarah O'Connor is just, oh my God. But yeah, it was Skynet coming. Is it going to like take over?
Skynet's coming.
They've missed their deadline anyway. So Judgment Day passed a while ago now, didn't it? So.
Oh yeah, I remember the whole like inside joke with my friend group about that day. AI screwed up. You're too late now.
It's like, there's so many things. You look at movies like that, what they thought was going to be the future. You look at Back to the Future.
Oh, right? God.
If they did it now, it'd be going back to the 90s.
Pacific Rim.
Like, oh, my God, what? Back to the 90s, Back to the Future. Like, oh, my God. That's frightening.
Like, for example, Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
This year was meant to be the end of the world, basically. The beginning of the end of the world. But anyway, we digress. We're heading back into movies here.
We always do, don't we?
We're geeks, mate. We're geeks.
Yeah.
Anything nerdy or geeky.
That is the trouble in it, is we always will. But as you look at, once again, things involving like robotics and artificial intelligence, think of things like Blade Runner. I love the movie Blade Runner, and obviously, the end of that movie, Rutger Hauer's speech, and that was amazing. He created that himself, and that was unbelievable. But you look at when that was set. That was set in 2019. Like, really? Blade Runner was 2019. It was set, and you think. Yeah, we don't have robots like that. That's mental.
Flying cars and guns that shoot lasers. Where are they?
Where's any of that? Where's the the replicants? We don't have any of this stuff. Like, it's crazy when you look back at what they call the future.
I want an exosuit, please.
Make
my life a living daydream.
There are exosuits around. People have been developing them to helping people with like disabilities and so on, help them walk and lift things and improve strength. So there are some of those around, let's be honest, but that's probably for another day. And we've kind of, I think we've probably covered all the parts of AI that we can think of. We've covered the music, the writing, the business, the art, the videos, and
the world of work, gaming, everything in between.
Yep, exactly. So
even the mild part of communication, which is freaky.
Yeah, it does make you wonder. But as I said, it's a thing. Computers do speak in a different language to us. It's all ones and zeros, on and off is the basic states of computers and so on. So it makes sense. If you've got two computers, they can talk at a much quicker pace without having to translate it into English for us or whatever language you happen to be speaking. It's a lot quicker because they don't understand that language. It has to be broken down. So it does make sense, but we shall see what develops in future, I guess. So I think we should probably end it there before they start listening to us and start shutting us down or something, because AI is listening all the time. We know it is because Google and stuff do, don't they? It's worrying if you've got like an Amazon Echo or a Google Home or something like that, and you ask a question and it says, "I'm sorry, the microphone is off." If the microphone's off, how did you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a bit of a worry, isn't it? So you are listening, even though I've turned you off. That's a concern to me. That's a bit. It's like the people that, they're chatting, they've got their phones in, they're chatting about cats or something. The next thing they go on Facebook and they've got an advert for cat food, and it's like it's always listening. But if AI is then into that, because we know it's always listening for adverts and all that kind of thing. So how much of that is going to be fed into AI where they'll know too much about you? Worrying in it.
Yeah. Anyways, mate.
Yeah, we shall end it there. So anyway,
let's talk this one.
It's been quite a debate in it. We're kind of on similar sides for a lot, but I think there's been a lot to kind of talk about. But anyway, my name's Nathan. You can find me all over the internet. Well, hopefully not too much all over the internet in dodgy places. We can only hope anyway. So I'm on YouTube. On my channel Wasn't My Fault, and some others on the way soon, or on Twitch as Nukami.
You can find me on YouTube as the Welsh Assassin 998 and the same on Twitch.
Thank you very much for listening. Please join us again soon. Until then, bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.